Hello, everybody. My name is Rextus,
And I'm Silgale.
and welcome back to Grand Theft Auto 5
Woo!
Enhanced.
Enhanced.
Okay, so we definitely wanted to go over this and kind of go over the changes, the things that have changed in the game, what has changed, what hasn't changed, and just kind of give our opinion on Grand Theft Auto 5 overall. Um, but first, I'm just going to grab the bike
Ugh.
because I want to take this for a spin because there is a special change that did happen and I wanted to just actually really run this. So they actually did do the HSW upgrades for some vehicles,
Woo.
and I think my favorite is this drag. Really like the drag.
Yeah.
Go from stoplight to stoplight here just to see the speed before we change it. Because you cannot undo, I don't believe, the new speed change.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Hmm.
So it seems to be pretty quick.
Ah! Ran into a ball.
Oh, yeah. I do like how speedy it is, but apparently you can actually go faster. Alright. So the main thing that did change is enhanced versus legacy. Legacy is the old Grand Theft Auto 5, and Grand Theft Auto 5 enhanced is basically Grand Theft Auto 5. It's just been kind of revamped. They changed some of the graphics, some of the other things in it as well. I'm not sure everything that they changed, but they definitely did change the HSW upgrades, which were not available in the legacy version of Grand Theft Auto. So I'm gonna go ahead and mod. Oh, and then also, why have we been away?
Wait, what?
We've been gone for a week. I forgot even to
Oh
talk about
yes.
that.
We had a very nasty bug.
Yeah, we got sick for a little bit, so and I'm still recovering. Soul Gale got it first,
I
and
did.
then you've recovered, and then I got hit with it. I'm still kind of recovering, kind of still kind of getting a little bit better. I'm still a little bit stuffy here and there, but I'm definitely getting better. So
Yeah.
yes, the HSW, which I was like, oh, because I was looking at the stats for this bike and I was like, this bike is super, super fast. It's super controlled in the turning. And I love like the feeling of the bikes in this game. That I got the bike and I wasn't
Yeah.
too really impressed with the bike too much because of the long rear tail here and having the bike wheel way out here.
Mhm.
I just don't like the look of that. I like the basic look of the basic Hichiku, the basic Hikachu, or the Shih Tzu. The Shih Tzu. You
I
can
was
see,
I was just gonna say Shih Tzu.
yeah, the Shih Tzu. But I really like the basic look of the Shih Tzu. And even in like Mario Kart, I love bikes. Bikes are super, super fun. But
Yeah.
this is supposed to be supposedly be able to really upgrade this HSW. So the first upgrade is free from HSW, and then consecutives you're going to actually have to pay for.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and grab it. So you can see that was around 1.45 million, and I didn't lose anything. I really want to test this out and just kind of see the speed increase, because the speed increase is like second on the board to anything.
Yeah.
Whoops, I hit the wrong button. All right.
Exit. All right.
Oh, oh, okay. That's kind of scary.
Woo.
Okay, we went from nippity to this is pretty fast.
Yeah. Well, at least
Ooh.
the acceleration is a lot quicker at getting up.
Oh yeah. Oh, that is scary though because it's very uncontrollable when you start hitting that speed and it's just like, oh, it is
Yeah.
zippy.
It's zippy.
I'm gonna actually have to do a real time trial because I did get some earlier and just see the difference between the speeds. But I do like, especially if you're doing like a heist or anything like that. Woo.
Woo.
It is very crucial to be able to get from point A to point B very quickly and very
Oh yeah.
fast. That ups your heist time as well because I know, I got my helmet on at least.
I like our helmets.
Oh yeah. So that is something they definitely did change is the HSW, and you can tell I'm having a fun time with it.
Yeah.
I love the speed. I can't wait to see if there's an actual difference or if it just kind of changed the acceleration. That's kind of the main thing.
It probably just changed the acceleration.
Yeah, so I'm going to have to test at full speed if it actually goes faster or not. Oh my goodness. Scaring myself there. All right. But there are other things on the objective other than just HSW.
Yeah.
You saw nothing.
I saw everything.
So the bike aside, we have other things that we wanted to talk about. I was tempted to very much so when this released get the Raiju, which is the I forget, but it's the big plane. I'm just gonna call it a big plane. I
Yes.
really wanted to get that for a very long time, and I was like, oh, I definitely want to get that. I definitely want to try it out. So I believe that's in Warstock. Yeah, it's in Warstock.
Yeah.
But just to show off the monolith as well, I really, really like. Yeah, F-160, right? Will ride you.
Yes.
Gotta get away from the train tracks. That train will be around every 30 seconds otherwise. But
oh, really?
yes, I really, really like the concept of this and trying to actually get it. And unfortunately, it's just not what I was expecting it to be because when Legacy was around, you still had compatibility issues between PC and controller. And I'm just going to move over here because I do not like the train. The train is very, very loud.
Very loud train.
Might go over to the golf course.
Golf course.
I do like the golf course, how green it is. What exploded?
What exploded?
I don't know. Something exploded.
What?
I don't know. I just ran past it and it just blew up.
I don't know, but I'm catching up to you.
Oh, really? I'm not going
Yeah.
full speed.
Oh. I crashed too.
Oh, I love it.
I was looking at what you were doing and then I crashed.
Well, I crashed first. I caused collateral damage. Oh.
This is a very fast bike now.
Oh, yeah.
My goodness, I'm having so much hard trouble.
You're having a hard time driving?
Yeah.
Oh, this little park right here. This is nice. Oh, yes. Perfect. Get a little bit of traffic here and there. Hey, I like this one. I also like the golf course as well. The golf course is a lot wider, but...
I'm in this gazebo type thing.
You're in the gazebo.
Oh, look at me.
Yeah, I see you up there.
Ah.
So, but when you're talking about helicopters versus like planes or anything else like that, helicopters, and this is something that I came across when I was testing. So testing is actually pretty easy to do. I really like that throughout the game, like you can test whatever you want to try out before you go and buy it. That's really really the essential thing because cars are around 2 million and having to buy a car, it takes you a very long time to actually go and buy that car. So being able to test out before you buy something is very essential because you don't want to get a car and then look back at it and go, I didn't really like the car to even begin with. So being able to fully out test whatever you want to actually to be able to try out is really, really essential. So what you can do is if you go into online, you can go to Rockstar Creator and you'll be able to create your own event. Within that, you can basically create any type of vehicle, pretty much to my knowledge, and be able to test out the differences between, a sports car or a, supercar or anything like that. And that's super, super nice. So I will point out there is that if you're trying to buy a car, and that does kind of help kind of your decision whether you want to buy a certain car or if you don't. But for the Raiju, it came down to actually the actual controls. And this is kind of throughout Grand Theft Auto 5, where I believe, especially at the end of our session of Grand Theft Auto 5, I was still having the same issues with Grand Theft Auto 5, where if you're opening up a safe in one location, it's not the same compatibility between mouse and keyboard just for the same keybinds just to open up the safe versus another safe. So the
Yeah.
keybinds are completely different. And I didn't even try out the Raiju until enhanced, but then I was like, hey, I definitely want to try out the Raiju because I want to make sure that I like it. And I actually before I even tested it, I went and I got the is it the Avenger
Yeah.
to be able to get the discount for the Raiju because I was very much so set on getting the Raiju, and I went ahead and got that. And end of the story is when you pull forward with the control stick or whatever you want to call it. Basically, when you pull your mouse forward, scrolling your mouse forward,
Mm-hmm.
unlike a helicopter, you pull the mouse forward, and in the forward position, it'll keep at a constant where the helicopter will continuously move forward. When you're in the Raiju or if you're in the Avenger, regardless of whichever one you're in, when you're trying to pull your mouse forward to the forward position, it'll reset your forward position back into center, which is really annoying. So basically, what you're having to do is keep on moving your mouse forward just to be able to move consistently forward, which
Yeah.
is just like, let's say you're trying to travel from the bottom of the map all the way to the top of the map. You just have to keep on moving your mouse forward and forward and forward and forward and forward. It gets annoying.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so ridiculous. So it's just, I was thinking about getting the Raiju, and then I was like, any other helicopter, regardless of the helicopter, even if it's like the Sparrow or even, just the basic, what's the one that we really like as well?
Swift.
The Swift as well. The Swift is a really, really good one. And between those versus even the Raiju, it's only 60 seconds difference. So maybe a minute. I believe it was less than a minute when I tested it. It was like 45 seconds. And it's like for most of for most of the traversing and being able to go from point A to point B, it's actually pretty useful to have the helicopter because when you're using the Raiju versus a
Mm-hmm.
helicopter, the Raiju overrides your bike. So if you have your bike out, it'll just put your bike away and pull out the Raiju. So there's a whole bunch of playing around just to get your Raiju out and to be able to use your Raiju.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of that time, it just becomes ridiculous to just use the Raiju. So at the end of the day, it's just better to overall just use the helicopters, even like the Sparrow or even the Swift, versus having to even use the Raiju. And Sparrow is actually going to be the one that really is nice because you can pull out the Sparrow consistently over something like the Raiju, where it's just annoying.
Yeah.
But regardless, with the controls and the control compatibility, I believe we're still having kind of the same issues. When you're next to a ladder, unlike Dark Souls 3, you're going to be able to actually hit E, be able to climb up on the ladder, and just you're actually having a button press to climb up a ladder. Versus in Grand Theft Auto 5, you automatically grab onto the ladder. So again, with universal controls, it's just very, very annoying.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Definitely some other things that we wanted to hit though. It's just a bad I wouldn't say bad storyline. Like it does have storyline, but just bad characters in Grand Theft Auto 5 because of the language that's involved. The language does rub off on an older player or even a younger player, and language is definitely something to consider when you're playing Grand Theft Auto 5. If you don't want to hear yourself starting to say some curse words
Mm-hmm.
during the day, that's definitely kind of not really high on the list on concerns, but still a concern because if you're a parent, you don't want your kid saying things in the middle of class or in the middle of the day and not thinking about what they're actually saying. You want them to be at least responsible, and you also want to keep yourself responsible as well. Um,
Yeah.
but that's kind of trivial in the long run. Um, and then the last thing I wanted to hit was accessibility, and accessibility goes throughout. Who's crashing?
I don't know, but they crashed into my sparrow.
Why did you pull it out? The Sparrow is really nice though.
Because I like how it goes
I
to
like I
you.
like your blue
Hey,
color
come
too.
back here.
but I gotta pull it out of the way so people aren't smashing.
Yeah.
Oh, I love the helicopter though. These are super fun, especially like versus for helicopters. This can spawn anywhere.
I love how it just spawns
Oh,
near you.
yes. Oh, yeah. Yeah, this is super useful. This, if any helicopter, grab this one.
Do you like my blue?
Just, oh yeah, pretty blue. I have pretty ice white, I believe, on mine.
Yeah.
But I do like the sky blue-ish color. It's a little bit darker than sky blue, but
Well,
it's a
I
nice sky
did
blue.
have it as a purple before, but the purple was like too dark.
Yeah. Yeah, purple. Oh yeah, any dark colors, it's just gonna be like, because I did start out with like a black bike, and then I just turned it around, and I was like, no, it's just too dark. I still kind of like a navy color.
Yeah. Do you like the color of my bike?
Oh yeah, the like grapey purple color.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really, and then you got the lavender kind of like side tone on it as
It's
well.
actually a frost.
So that's the number one thing I'd have to say about Grand Theft Auto 5 is just the cars, the bikes, the customization, the colors, the scratches that ding up your car. That
Yeah.
that is one of the best things. But accessibility, like you can test out and you can try out different cars or different bikes, but at the end of the day, I really think a bike really kind of wins because when you're traveling and you're trying to get away from cops or anything else, it's really essential to just kind of like skinny past cars or just to avoid the cops in general, and then you can just kind of pin them down where they can't chase you with a bike versus a car where you're more at a liability to get stuck.
Yeah.
Just a bike makes much more sense than anything else. So, in terms of accessibility, the last thing I wanted to hit on, um, even though you can test out the bikes and everything else, when everything in terms of a vehicle like a car or a super or a sport pretty much costs around 2 million, that's a lot of money. That's
Yeah,
a
it
lot of
is.
time to put into certain cars and being able to color and do those things. It's just that's a lot of money, and being able to just access whatever car it is really kind of counterproductive to having them at 2 million and you not being able to get that 2 million. And of course there are ways to make the money, but at the same time, when you're looking at something like Warframe is way better. You can easily, when you start out Warframe, you can easily get a hold of, weapons, Warframes, and other things very quickly and very easily accessible. Whereas
Oh
Grand
yeah.
Theft Auto 5, trying to get your first car, super, sport car, whatever it is, you're going to be waiting that 2 million to actually get that car, which is it's just annoying. And especially when cocaine or anything else like that, cocaine will take like 2.5 hours and
Bunker takes longer.
yeah, the bunker takes like 5 hours or whatever it
Five,
is.
6 hours.
And then when you're trying to do, I think the easiest heist is in the most consistent heist for us currently is going to be the cuckoo or Cluckin' Bell, the Cluckin'
Clucking
Bell,
bell.
and that gives you 500,000 as well. But like even that for the setup takes about 2 hours maybe to run through the whole thing.
I wouldn't say 2 hours, maybe about an hour.
Maybe an hour, maybe 2 hours, somewhere in there. But just it takes a lot of time just to get 500,000, and then if you can only buy a quarter of a car at that point, you have to do so much more farming just to be able to get to the car. And then plus two, with the stress of heists, and I would have to say this too, why we're actually wearing helmets. I was wondering if I shouldn't take off my helmet for this, but the reason why you wear a helmet in Grand Theft Auto 5 is because then you don't get one shot when someone accidentally or purposefully gets a headshot off on you.
Yeah.
Within the first bullet, you die. You tip over, and you just die.
Mm-hmm.
One shot to the head versus a ballistic helmet, which takes 3 shots to actually. And this is why we're wearing ballistic helmets. But then in some game modes, like even heists, we'll completely remove the helmet.
Yeah.
So when you're super vulnerable like that, and you can just easily fail a heist again and again and again, this is what I'm gonna relate to is you have burnout, where burnout is I'm trying to do an objective over and over and over again within a very short period of time, and over that period of time I'm not getting the objective done,
Yeah.
and therefore I just get burned out. So that's like short objectives, like objective within easily 5, 10, 15 minutes or something like that. Grand Theft Auto 5 though is worse than burnout, and I'm actually going to say this because I've had a few other games that do this as well. and I'm going to give a definition for it for here, is over engaging. Over engaging, I believe, is worse than burnout, because over engaging is you're trying to do an objective over a period of at least 2 hours or just a very enormous amount of time and not being able to finish it. So um, I would say over engaging applies to the following. I would say parkour, having to parkour for a very long, long time. I would have to say that for Hollow Knight with the Path of Pain, because that took around 4 hours, no stops, no waypoints. As soon as we closed out of the game, you would have to restart at the very beginning. So over engaging for that. Grand Theft Auto
Yeah.
5, 2.5 hours, 5 hours just to get a half a million or $1 million. And yes, there's ways to passively make money in this game, and I know that. It's just over engaging, because the thing is even with a cocaine house, or even something like doing, the bunker,
Mhm.
that can take 5 hours, and then you can also lose it by getting, I forget what the term is for that, where they gank you like that.
Get rated.
When you get rated, you can just lose all of it. So it's over engaging, because it's not to the point where the players over engage. Let me clarify that. It's actually to the point where the game is over engaging the player. So it's not the player's fault that they get over engaged. It's more so that the game is actually over engaging the player, because you're having to do the 2 hours, you're having to do the 2.5 hours, 10 hours, whatever it is, and it's over engaging you. Same thing
Yeah.
with Hollow Knight for like the Path of Pain. You should be able to have waypoints, checkpoints, so that you're not having to over engage on something like that. And I would actually have to say Elden Ring is probably the best, even in terms of over engaging, because even though you have to spend like 30 minutes trying to do something, it's not that hard. It's really actually pretty
No.
simply easy. But over engaging is kind of annoying when you get reset, when you get rated on,
Mhm.
and it just makes it so much worse.
Well,
Burnout.
there was a time where I was just like AFKing, and it would just completely um
Raid you without
disappear.
telling you.
Yeah, it would just completely disappear.
Yeah, I've had that several times in Grand Theft Auto 5. I'm really tired of that. That's something that's really just annoying. It's just, it doesn't tell you, and then it just, where'd my cocaine stash go? Where did my bunker go? Nope. Went into the Oblivion. Went into the blue. No idea where it went.
I was just so annoyed after that.
You're at that point, you're actually more than annoyed. I'm just gonna
Yeah.
say it lightly like that, because it's just, you're more than annoyed, because it's over engaging. It's to the point where you're doing an objective for way too long, and then you lose it, and it is more than just devastating to a player. It's more than just burnout. It's just you're over engaged, and it's not the player's fault for being over engaged. It's literally the game forcing you to be over engaged.
Mhm.
It's not dependent on the player. It is completely game controlled. So, yeah, that is what that is. Um, so just to kind of wrap everything up in a kind of nice, neat bow, is this a game that I would main? Is this a game that I would call as a main game? And a main game, what I consider a main game is when you take a game that you're kind of going to obsess about or take a lot of time to actually play and kind of focus on. This is not kind of a main game. Would be more of a side game. If a friend wanted me to play Grand Theft Auto 5, I would probably oblige and play it and just kind of have a little bit of fun with it.
Mhm.
But if it were me and I was just to get on by myself and really play it, I really wouldn't end up enjoying it all that much. It's more of
No.
a co-op game where it's more focused on actually having your friends play the game than just playing the game solo. So is it a really good main game? Not really. Not one that you can really solo. If you have a group of friends, I can see where this would be a lot more enjoyable. But for us, not so much. It just
No.
depends if you actually have friends that actually like to play Grand Theft Auto 5.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's kind of beside the case. If you're just trying to look at this as a solo played game, I would probably say definitely no. I think though, for kind of us, is we're more so trying to more focus on something like Warframe, where Warframe is for me more of an obsession. I love Warframe. I love
Oh, I couldn't
everything.
put Warframe down.
Oh yeah, like yeah, even though the farming or everything else is just really kind of burnout, not excessively burnout, because there's other games that you definitely get burned out on.
Oh yeah.
But it's just a game that I really, really enjoy. But for Grand Theft Auto 5, do I recommend Grand Theft Auto 5?
No.
No, it's just it's not good for the kids. It's not even good, I would have to say, for, for me as a player. It's just it's over engaging. And even though I do enjoy the cars, which the cars are the best part of the entire game, it's not
Yeah.
something I would generally recommend to actually play. And as kind of a staple game, it does have the cars in it, but I just wish that you could kind of tear Grand Theft Auto back down to the ground and just be able to have kind of a racing game for cars and just kind of have that be it. Having all this excessive farming, having all this shooting, especially if you get shot in the head, is just kind of overwhelming for the game and could be definitely revamped. I mean, the player isn't, this is realistic. If you get shot in the head, then you die. But
Yeah, well, that heist that we were doing for the Kosaka, I got shot so many times in the head.
yeah, and it gets really, really annoying. But games are meant to be enjoyed. That's the whole point of a game.
Mhm.
And when when you get shot in the head and the feeling is just completely uselessness, it's like, yeah, that's kind of reality, but at the same time, it takes away from the enjoyment factor just a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah. But yeah, that's kind of that all that we have for Grand Theft Auto 5. I really appreciate the move to the HSW upgrades, the upgrade augments. That is really, really cool. And for future, if you were to play with some friends, this is actually pretty fun. But uh, for me, it was a huge disappointment for the Raiju. I really wanted to pull out the Raiju and be able to actually use it and actually kind of go around the map with it, and it kind of
Yeah.
let me down that they didn't do anything for the controls to make the controls more fluid, make sure that the controls worked across the board. It doesn't seem like they did anything to make sure that the controls actually worked for everything. They just kind of did a general, graphics update, which, I mean, it does look pretty good for what it is, but
Yeah.
other than, and of course the HSW augment as well, but other than that, not much has really changed in Grand Theft Auto 5. It's still kind of the same game, and I still kind of wouldn't recommend it. Yeah. But that is what it is. Well,
Yeah.
well, is that all the time that we have for this episode?
Unfortunately, yes.
And we will see you guys in the very next video. Bye bye.
Bye bye.